Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, very briefly this morning, and hopefully, I'm able to really summarize everything. The expression I want us to look into today is the idea of being chosen. The idea of being chosen, and in fact, every Muslim was chosen. Like, you hear the chosen one. Every Muslim is the chosen one. And hopefully by the end of this talk, you will understand what I mean by every Muslim. Every single Muslim is the chosen one. And so, so let's get right into it. So there are three words in the Quran that were translated to chosen or to choose or something. So, and of course, the translators just have it as we choose you, or this person was chosen, just the same word, chose, choose. Whereas there are three different words in Arabic. Like the first one is ikhtiyar. And it's a derivative word from khair, from good or better. Khair, ikhtiyar. So now the second one is istofa, from sofwa. And this is basically from purity. Means in essence purity. And then the third one is ijtaba. The root word is jabu. So very briefly, I'll go into each one of them. So ikhtiyar, like I said, it's the real word where it was derived from is from khair. So it's to be better, to do better. And so you find in the Quran, for instance, when Allah talks about choosing Musa as a prophet, he used the word ikhtiyar for him. And we know from that, like the word I was saying, is that we chose Musa. You find, if you look at the Arabic, you find it's ikhtiyar Musa. We ikhtiyar Musa. So basically what Allah is saying there is that, and of course some prophets, couple of these expressions were used for them. Some prophets, ikhtiyar and istofa was used for them, something like that. But part of the words that was used for Musa was ikhtiyar. And we know from this that Allah is basically saying that it was a better choice. It was a better choice. And we see it in his life. You see, when Allah chose him, it was like, oh God, can I have my brother Musa? He's very outspoken. You know, I stammer and all of that. And we find that in the Quran, Musa's words was the most recorded word of any of the prophets. Just so Allah can further, and even when he was talking to Pharaoh, we don't hear Harun talking. We don't hear Harun talk. Perhaps Harun spoke. And the only time that he even left the children of Musa with Harun, that was when the Israelites they built the calf and started worshiping it and stuff. And so he came back and he shook him like, why would you let this happen and all of that. And so we find that the expression ikhtiyar was perfect for Musa to have been chosen, you see. So so we'll put a pin on that. We're going to the next word. Sofwa. So sofwa, really what it means is purity. And maybe some other time we'll look into it, and toharo, like another word for purity. But in essence, for this conversation, its essence is purity, to purify. And so when Allah was talking about choosing Miriam, Allah used istofa for Miriam. And so we know from that her purity was grand. Her purity was one of, and this is why it saddens, or it should sadden Muslim when we hear expressions from some other angles that Isa bin Maryam was not an immaculate conception, and that someone else, there are this, it was even recorded in the Quran that the Judaists of the time, actually, they were like, why would you do this? Like, they didn't want to hear anything about any miracle or anything. They thought she had an affair, what have you. And by Allah using istofa for her, Allah is reinforcing her purity. Allah is saying that we chose Miriam, and the word is istofa. See, so Allah is re-emphasizing her purity, and she was pure. It says the purest of all the women over time, or something like that, or even all the women put together. Something of that expression, I think, was used in the Quran. And so this is istofa, you see. So the next word we want to look into is ijtaba, and this is where we are concerned. So istofa, the root word is jabu. The meaning of jabu in essence. So jabu is said of, so let me first use this expression. Jabu is said of the love handle we have in our tummies for those of us that don't have six packs. So that extra fat is called jabu. In much technical context, jabu is said of taxation. You see, like there are some folks that their income is not taxable because they've not been able to make a particular amount. So taxation starts at, say, when you start making $10,000 per month or something. But below that, you can't be taxed. You can't be taxed. For instance, right? So anybody that starts making $10,000 now, more than $10,000, now has jabu, now has excess, and it is this expression that was used for. This is what in classical times they call jabu, and so the Allah in Quran 22 verse 78, when He spoke about us being chosen, all Muslims, Allah used ijtaba. So by Allah using ijtaba, Allah is saying that we are now making way more than $10,000 per year or per month or whatever. So every Muslim has something that they already have in excess, and this is why they are chosen. This is why they are Muslims. Every Muslim that really believes in the tashahud, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad abduhu wa rasul, la ilaha illallah Muhammad rasulullah, is already ijtaba. There's already ijtaba going on with that Muslim. And so every Muslim must search deep down within themselves. Every Muslim does not have to do everything. Does not have to do the same thing as every other Muslim is doing. Every Muslim was chosen for their particular particular talent, and every Muslim must carry out or execute that talent in the path of Allah. If you read in Quran 22 verse 78, Allah talks about like strive in the cause of Allah, for we have chosen you. And this is to all Muslims. Every Muslim was chosen. Every Muslim is the chosen one, and they must search within themselves so that they will be able to execute in their own way their strivings in Islam. And this is the message I have for all of us today, which is that Allah didn't use ikhtiyar for us. Allah didn't use istofa for us. Allah used ijtaba. Like, dude, you're now making way more than the other folks have or what have you, and we need you to pay taxes off of it. And it is our jihad fi sabilillah. It is in our jihad, our strivings, our daily strivings in Islam, and so on and so forth, that we are giving of what we already have, you see. So like the average Muslim doesn't have to be like some renowned scholar or something to be able to give of themselves. If you are good in engineering, if you are good in medicine, if you are good in sports, if you are good in writing, if you are good in like whatever it is that you are good in, that is what Allah wants you to put in His path to further the science, art, to further the cause of Islam. May Allah make it easy for us to be able to fulfill our chosen responsibilities. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa sallim taslim. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.